The title of our paper is Drawing Out the Hyper-Insecurities of Digital Identity, and it describes a method for working with stakeholders remotely and for capturing and then analysing the data using drawing. In the paper, we examine the role of drawings made by researchers during a series of online focus groups, and we discuss the role that these drawings can play in engagement and how these are able to open up new possibilities for subsequent data analysis. In the online sessions, the main topic discussed was digital identity, proving who you are online so that you can access your bank account, pension, welfare, health, housing, and other essential services. But then we also discussed how these services are accessed by marginalised and underserved communities. This is one of the primary drawings made during two of the sessions, one session on the left and one on the right. It's ink on board and is approximately A1 in size. As you can see, it has a horizon and is filled with an abundance of graphical elements, and this is a record of the discussions held on Zoom. Each area describes a different topic related to digital identity and illustrates metaphors and examples that were mentioned. It grew organically and is a purposely messy representation of the conversations, which were about refugees, which have been assisted with digital identity, and about how those with autism need assistance. This is a table from our paper laying out who the participants in our study were. A snowball process of recruitment was used for this. These groups often have to deal with various forms of digital exclusion for people who are trying to access essential, everyday digital services. The study had 4 stages. First, a pre-study with community gatekeepers, exploring what digital identity means for them. Then 5 90-minute Zoom engagements were held with different communities, 6 of them with the 21 individuals in total. Notes were made, plus a line drawing like the one shown. These were shared soon after the groups for their feedback, and a final report was then shared. In a moment we can show you some of our findings, but before that, a word about how these primary drawings were later analysed visually. We took the metaphor of the landscape in which the digital identity operates, and on an everyday basis, it gives a literal horizon and a perspective to what is otherwise an abstract matter. In this template, we dropped clippings, visual clippings, from the primary drawings, creating a Photoshop collage of key elements. We devised a framework for our analysis. Everyday pressures often intersect with each other to create a compounded form of insecurity, or hyper-insecurity as we call them. There are 3 zones in the landscape to move through, in increasing levels of abstraction away from the viewer. In the foreground are the embodied interactions that make up our encounters with digital identity. In the middle ground are the surroundings that can condition the infrastructured responses to this and the various workarounds. In the background are the not always compatible goals, pressures, and responsibilities that frame the everyday. In the first collage, the theme is digital identity in the family. Here, young people emerge as brokers of digital identity, managing this for others, where data and devices have a certain currency. Many of these scenarios highlight the shortcomings of digital identity systems, for example, where the device proves the phone, but not the person. This particular secondary collage uses clippings from across all of the sessions, but joins them to show where the patterns of hyperinsecurity sit within this broad landscape. We will have to refer you to the paper and to the data resource DOI for greater detail and discussion of these points. The following slides will show you just an overview of these zones. The background, or the zone of plurality as we call it. Here, you've got trust and intergenerational support within families and their networks can be seen quite clearly. The middle ground, or the zone of ecology, this includes infrastructured strategies identity sharing between siblings, for example, and the use of free Wi-Fi data and switching between identities. Elements of the primary drawings have been teased apart here, but can be read as clusters of thematically related information around one topic. And this is the way that we retain as much of the surrounding context as possible. Here you can see the foreground. This is the zone of embodiment, the things that are closest to hand. The second collage is on the theme of carers and digital identity. Topics discussed here include everyday money management, authentication strategies, and various workarounds. Money, impersonation and merry-go-rounds is the subheading we give to this in the findings, this particular findings area, and a number of infrastructured responses to pressures from above and below are collected in the middle band here. This is the background, or the zone of plurality, where money looms large. In the middle ground, or the zone of ecology, we see the clusters around everyday shortcomings of digital identity systems, where, for example, impersonation is used to circumvent the inflexibility of systems. In the foreground, or the zone of embodiment, at the bottom right, the contradictory, confusing and ridiculous, as they called it, digital identity merry-go-round for carers. I have to resort to complaining on Twitter to get things done, said one of our participants. To summarize then, the collages offer exploratory qualitative cartographies or maps of hyper-insecurities. The method can be considered as an outline of a general workflow and could well be used with a variety of creative tools other than drawing. The method is designed to retain the original context of the data and to connect with holistic design approaches, such as cognitive mapping, world building, and can be anything that's suited to working with complex problem spaces. It can also impact on policy design by helping us to visualize futures. The method is an extension of the creative engagement approach often found in HCI and allows a deeper understanding of the forces that shape user experience. And there are opportunities for targeted responses to counter digital exclusion. Finally, we refer you to our supporters and helpers and the literature that has inspired us. Thank you.